Looking to find harmony and work-life balance? Join Coach AnnaJo as she shares practical strategies, empowering mindsets, and inspiring stories to live the life you want to lead on AnnaJo Talks, Work Life for Badasses. Now, here's your host, Coach AnnaJo.
Welcome everyone to another episode of AnnaJo Talks Work Life for Badasses. I'm Coach AnnaJo and I'm here to challenge the myth of balance and find real harmony in modern life. Today's episode, I want to get started with some reflections to get this episode because I have a special guest. And when I say special guest, perhaps you hear me saying this all the episodes when I have a guest, but this one is really a special guest. Okay, can I start with the name? The name is Gonçalo Esteves. Esteves, I would say, because it's the pronunciation in Portuguese. Gonçalo is the first thing for me is my husband. My husband, my partner in life for 24 years. Okay, we're not married for 24 years. We are married for 12, but he's my partner for 24 years. And why I'm bringing him here today? Because I know he is a badass. Oh, yes, he is a badass here in the house. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you remember the last episode, I was talking about you dating you, the future self. And if I need to tell you about someone that dates with the future self, is Gonçalo, my husband. And why? Because since I met him, engineering college, all right, back in Portugal, because both Portuguese, he was dreaming about being an astronaut. Now he's now in the 50s and he still dream, but now the dream is closer, has a path, has clarity, and the way he speaks, he talks, it's going to happen because it's almost there. And the thing is that actually he just came back during this weekend and in fact, he came like from a mission, like his space mission. He comes and arrives and says, I'm in Earth. And like, this is the type of conversation we are having. But I will let Gonçalo tell the story a bit further on this episode of AnnaJo Talks Work Life for Badasses. And today we have a future astronaut in the house. Hey, hello, Gonçalo. Welcome to AnnaJo Talks Work Life for Badasses. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for asking.
It's always interesting to come home. Go, like we say at Space Nation, like we say, coming back to Earth after a mission, independent of his length. So yes. I'm good. I'm still recovering on sleep and recovering on the emotional side. Yes. We had an outstanding crew this time, crew 3 of the Moon Pioneers mission. We do run.
Okay. But before, let me just, because we are in the same house, all right? So we're different floors in different office. We are in the same house. And the thing is, tell us about your story before you go and tell us these details that actually happened. I'm so excited about this weekend. But tell us about your story so our listeners know who is Gonçalo, the future astronaut that is coming.
Sure. I'm really happy to do that. I'd say starting up as a kid, I remember this very, if it is a made up memory or but that's what I remember. So I'll take it as reality. I remember sleeping at my bed and kind of, I believe I was listening to a spaceship pass by, and I always had, since I was a kid, this dream that I was falling down to Earth and I'm inside some kind of capsule or spacesuit and I can see Earth from above. And I'm like, that all it was kind of scary. I felt comfortable in there, like, okay, that's it. Probably like this was when I was 14 years old. I was always very interested in both in space and sci-fi, but also in city planning and overall systems, ideas, many things that connect together. Over time, those I'm gonna say those dreams changed. That thing stayed there in the back. I did industrial engineering and management. I didn't decide to go into physics or aerospace. I thought at that time that was not good enough for that. I had multiple things going on in my life between family, as you know, but also I've competed multiple years, like more than 15 years in a national karate team, and I had run businesses from from my 16 years old onwards. So I'd say some of those things that I would say were for the most gifted one, I left them aside. But then I'm gonna say I would say as we moved out of Portugal, I started understanding that there would be more things possible in that dream of space. Even being in the UK, starting to get more connected with the systems engineering world. I led the Omega team. That was a team that was across the UK trying to make or helping out on different ways of thinking in engineering. And then I would say the moment we came to the US, both with the idea that, well, in here really there is launch meaning, a spaceship, a rocket with a thing going up to space. And really, in here it exists. There is a launch cadence, something that is very hard to have in Europe, on to be found anywhere in the world. But more important, I would say, was when Enrique, our son, is 17 years old now, he asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And that was a terrible question that required a proper answer. And I went back to what I always dreamed about. That is, I want to be an astronaut. And just the fact that I could say it, and there was in my head the possibility to make it work. I was like, oh, okay, I'm probably gonna find a way. At that moment, I was working I've been a consultant in engineering and process thinking and overall methods for many years, senior management consultant, and I would say living in the US, so the overall environment does help. I do remember this very, very well. I was like, okay, I need to get into the industry. I was already working for a company called Honeywell as a consultant, and I kind of used my skills over there to help out the company. But more and more, I started getting closer to the space industry. There is an organization in the US called the AIAA, and American Institute of Aeronautics and Aerospace, and they have working groups. And working groups are something that also exists in Europe, but essentially they open up the door if you affiliate and if you make an application. So that was my first impact. I was like, oh, okay, there is space in here, whatever space could have been. So I really remember sending, I think the number was like 300 or 400 emails, all the committees and everyone that would be listed. And two of them answered me. Two of them.
Ooh,
two of the committees
400,
answered.
300, and two
Yeah,
of the two.
two guys answered.
Oh my God.
And say, yeah, of course, we probably would like someone to come and do, I would say, whatever. And whatever.
But what was the request? You were requesting, sending all these emails?
Yeah, the request was something like this. I'm okay to go there and serve coffee. But I would say overall that was the intent of the request. But the request was they were opening up for new committees, and they'll say, look, I've got 14 years of experience in business process management and organizational management. I would love to contribute in here to create procedures, to help out, to do something. That's so the Space Operations Technical Support Committee opened up the doors. They said, okay, although you are not, U.S. citizen, you are not trained in the field, we need someone to help, and you can come in as a temporary member. So I wasn't even listed in the members application list, but I said, guys, I can help. And the other one was also the Space Processes group. So So in one, I started doing research for them, reading research papers, creating structures and helping out in the meetings. But the space operations technical support group, I definitely started helping out, and I've organized one of their conferences. And with that, I met a ton of people. I started meeting people. Later on, I became the vice chair of the vice chair for the commercial outreach. That was extremely helpful. I started contacting people from Blue Origin, SpaceX, Rocket Lab, ton of other companies. But I met people from the environmental side of space. And I helped to run panels, something that I was already
always in volunteer mode, right? So
yeah, absolutely volunteer mode.
Always volunteer mode. Yeah.
I met all of those people. Then COVID came in, and remember, think of it as two parallel branches. COVID came in, and then Rick makes the question, like, what do you want to be as when you grow up? And I just had lost my job. Things were hard in here. I was like, well, it's time to restart. It's really time to refocus, rethink, and do something that is really important and meaningful and impactful, and it has to do with my life and what I really want to believe, and what I really want to do. That is to go up there and come back to things. Go up there and come back and inspire others as we progress humanity to the start, becoming a beyond Earth civilization. And I do believe that whoever wants to put the work, it can be done now, independent of the age group. I did thought about that with my hat as an European or a Portuguese or whatever I can. No, that really doesn't matter. I'll just plow ahead. COVID comes in, and everything in the space world opened up. That is most of
with
the
COVID, everything in the space opened up.
Yeah,
and let me just recap here, because actually, I know that we were both together, working, you had both jobs, 9 to 5, we would be on 9 to 5, and COVID hit, and you 2 weeks after, it was in March still, right? So you got because you were a consultant, the non-priority projects, and I remember, you saying that you were laid off. Me, as a consultant, you were kind of okay, we are going to hold this project, and that is now what I'm going to do. And he's like, okay, now I'm going to look after for my dream, and I have this opportunity to do that with COVID, right? Because we didn't know what's going on with COVID, and you go ahead, and you said the space industry open up. Wow. Okay, go ahead.
So, and what I had a notion of what was out there, but with COVID, most of the conferences, most of the things became virtual. And
yes.
And that to be fair, I took the whole opportunity. I attended everything possible, all the potential Spacecom and IS in situ resource utilization conferences, Lunar Surface Innovation Consortium. I became members in everything. I probably run in that year more than 50 workshops across all domains. Wow. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to meet people, starting to understand the jargon. And I parallel to that, I was like, no, this is not enough. I need to do more in order to overcome my lack of technical skills. I started reading books about space, in particular, Space is Open for Business from Robert Jacobson. And the book has 30 chapters. And every time that I read a piece of that, I would do a video. And I would reach out to the people that were in the references. I would read the references. I would create checklists for that type of content. And as I reached out to the people that were interviewed by Robert, that I later met as well, I started getting acquainted to more industries and to more people. And at that time, NASA launches a challenge, and I looked at that as a process engineer. I'm like, I think this is an interesting opportunity, because I believe I want to work on the subproducts of the moon excavation. So I reached out to one of the participants from one of the meetings, Clive Neal from the University of Notre Dame. He's a world-renowned expert in lunar environment. I'm like, Clive, what do you think? We've talked about this. You're like, I think you're really interested in doing something. why don't we do a team and go for the challenge? And
hold on, how did you meet that professor from Notre Dame?
I met Clive in one of the Lunar Surface Innovation Consortium meetings.
One of your workshops that you participated during COVID.
And I facilitated. Why? Because at the same time, now that we talk about that, I was compiling numbers on how the space industry was growing in numbers of jobs across not only counties or locations, but but the job market was starting, and I would compile numbers from SpaceX, Blue Origin, and all the other companies. I would publish that in my LinkedIn page, and he was using my information. I was like, oh, I like the stuff that you are doing because it gives us an idea of what's happening. Not from the point of view of being reported by government authorities, but I would copy the job lists into Excel. I would count them over, organize them by thread, and would say, oh, these guys are having this type of capability being enhanced. Like, imagine, kind of to understand, are they working more on bringing propulsion or from process management? Or that's where I found that the world of space does not, or at least now, probably starting now, was not looking for professionals like me that would do business process management and all the
like excellence, right?
All the things that have more to do with middle management. They were more focused on either do quality assurance or quality control, but nothing in between. Like, very interesting way to think that, okay, all the skills that I've acquired during 14 years or that worked for
they are not the ones for
they
the
are
space
not the ones.
industry.
Like, how am I going to do this? I would say, like, he used that data, and because he used that data, I was being useful, and that's very important. And there's like, okay, I think he just gave it a shot. You know, like he gave it a shot, and they said, oh, but let me bring someone else. So he brings Paul Van Zuzanti from Michigan Technological University. These guys are top.
Where did you meet as well that professor?
So I met Paul through Clive.
Oh, okay.
I also had met Paul because I at that time I invested on learning about in situ resource utilization, and he was in a series of workshops, and I tried to present papers and not papers, but I tried to do some presentations, some bring some knowledge out of what were the resources out there, and I just met him, and then he brought in also Hunter Williams, that in this case is from Honeybee Robotics, and these guys are the ones that were developing a drill for the moon surface. So we had a nice team, a really nice team.
Okay.
We assembled a team. We go to the NASA competition.
But you were talking so like this language. Let me like our listeners, the badasses out there, so are listening from you. So you had a dream and you made it. You saw it possible when we move here to the US. So you look after to this networking and how can you be meeting people. You met people. COVID opened up much more opportunities. You did everything. You led a massive action in the world of here for the badasses is the massive action. You took massive action. You also proximity, because then with the virtual world, you were closer to all these people that you can meet. So you took advantage and you provide value. And I think it's important to say here, this value was for free. Right now, everything is about your time. You are giving back, believing that one day you will get out of something from here. But now is giving back because this is part of the journey I want to meet, the journey of being an astronaut, the journey of the space industry. So, and the challenge, because I think it's interesting, the challenge, because I'm running a 6-week challenge, right? But the NASA challenge, all right. So it's about millions, the awards about millions. But the fun fact here, and I think it's important to say, and I'm saying this because I know you're passionate and I know behind the scenes, right? So here to all listeners are with us, is about like how is one of the branches, the way NASA has R&D, do the research and development. So they hire, they launch a challenge, and this case was the first case. What was the challenge? It was water in Mars or Moon. How's that? It's like something like crazy like that. Who get the technology to find water, right?
Yeah. So think about this. I'm going to take a step back. And I thought like this. Okay. To become an astronaut with meaning, you need to do something.
It's a prerequisite. Okay.
Well, to be fair, you can go up to sky and to the.
Okay, so you need to do something
But-
regarding
But
aerospace.
my
and-
view is that when you go there, you go as a mission specialist. A specialist has a role to play. It does something. It does something that is important. It carries on an experiment, fixes something in space, and then comes back. And that's how you earn your thing, your wings or your badge or
That's
something
true,
that-
because astronaut is not only flying, I'm here, right? You have a mission, you have something to do.
It could be, but I truly believe that for me to ask others to do something, that thing needs to be meaningful and it needs to reach a higher purpose. And the higher purpose could be, okay, let's get up there and fix the oxygen plant.
Okay, I'm just laughing because I think it's just go there and fix the oxygen plant. Okay.
The way that NASA does research, and this is a clever way, that is, they have like this huge $3.5 billion budget, and they allocate a tiny percentage on, we want new ideas for certain gaps that they have in technology. And they run competitions across the world. Like they say, look, independent of where you are, with certain exceptions in here in terms of friendly countries, you bring concept design and to this challenge, and if you win the challenge, or if you are within the first 10, you receive not only a monetary award, but you get to present things, you get to start getting known in the industry.
Okay.
So that's a clever with dollars that get distributed by these eager teams that.
Yeah, of course, being rewarded by NASA. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that's what I did. I was like, I said, okay, now that I have my 100 videos that I kept on growing.
You did 100 videos, okay.
I did 117 or something like that. I've interviewed tons of people for my podcast. I met incredible people that still to this day, they keep on helping on projects. And parallel to that, and I'm saying this in the eye because that was, I would say, that seemed to be the only way. That is, okay, now that I've got breadth of knowledge, I need to make a deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
With the idea is a mission specialist, I can fly as a mission specialist and go to the moon. Mm-hmm. But in order, I need to become a mission specialist. I need to know deeply about an area, so that later on, as I move along in this, I can provide value. I can provide value not only by talking, but by doing things, by supporting a group. So I chose in situ resource utilization, in this case, the Break the Ice Challenge, applied the set of methodology that came from my background. And guys, we were a runner-up. So like, fantastic, NASA awarded us monetary prize. And I was like, okay, this is.
So, but Break the Ice Challenge was about to find water in the moon, right? Let's break this down on a language for the badasses in the world that understand.
So Break the Ice Challenge, think about this. The moon is like, it's a celestial body, is out there, it's close to the Earth. Not that close, but it's close to the Earth. And we know, because of the data received from a probe called LRO, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, there are pockets of ice water. And think about these
in the moon, pockets of ice water in the moon. So there is.
But why do we need ice water in the moon? It's because as H2O, we decompose, we've got hydrogen and oxygen, and that allows us to create propellant. That's the shortest possible.
Okay.
You don't need to bring propellant from Earth, from Earth, post-Earth, because with the gravitational force, it's extremely expensive. Just think about this. It's
okay. So
a kilogram of mass up there, 1 kilogram, it will cost you between, I would say right now, between $200,000 to $1 million. It's really expensive. Think that this is like gigantic order of magnitude in terms of the cost.
To bring that, yeah. So what you're going to do is to have certain type of device that go to the moon and break that ice and have water.
So
In
now
simple way.
that's the thing. Because the moon has been up there and it does not have atmosphere, that is essentially like a giant rock with multiple types of rocks in there full of regolith or dust, lunar dust. And the water ice deposits that are some of them at the surface, others a bit lower. But it's not water ice, it's crystals of water ice within the regolith or within the lunar dust. Okay, they are slightly different, but just think about this. It's like if you could, the moment you pick up that dirt, you need to place it in a container, in a vessel. You move it to a transformation plant, and by either a physical process or a chemical process, you change that. The moment you have the ice, you want to have ice, you're like, okay, cool. I have ice now. I can use this ice, send it to a plant, and transform the ice into hydrogen and oxygen. And you have water as well, so that astronauts and people can live. And we have flow. You can start having plants within a domain, within a
It
protected
is so
domain.
good. So you're saying that you're going to have like a place, like have a garden, like in the moon, is what you're telling me.
Well, with protection, of course, okay, because the moon does not have an atmosphere, okay, and even if it has an atmosphere, the
That's
current,
so cool.
the
Yes.
current, you can think about
Now
Mars.
it's kind of reminds me of Little Prince. It's kind of like the little flower. You are going to make it happen, the Little Prince story. The reality to go to the moon and have the little flower there, isn't it? Okay, what I want is just you to go to our listeners to really understand that challenge was a real thing from NASA and is away from research and develop. And you go ahead, you get the team, and you are in the game, and you get actually moving like just step forward here. You got an award.
Yes, I got an award. That was my first
And
NASA award. That's the thing. That was my first NASA Challenge Award winner. Okay, we had runner-up, first NASA Award Challenge winner. I was like, wow, really excited. From that award onwards, I moved and I applied to do the International Space Station business team. That was a business team that developed from the World Design Organization. I got chosen. I'm like, oh, God chose me.
It's amazing. I remember celebrating this at home, and was like, this is possible, but you worked a lot.
Yeah, that shows 15 people around the world. I was one of them, or 15, I think 15 people around the world that would look at the International Space Station and make them either a business or a school, or I was one of them in the business team. Again, I met like a ton of people and a ton of interesting people, and we present a set of recommendations that would bring that the $3.8 billion that is used in the International Space Station into becoming a profitable business case. So I was, and what that helped was tremendous, because I started having contact with the internal process of the International Space Station. How do astronauts run experiments? How funding occurs? But in the intricacy, in the details of who communicates with the astronaut. What does the astronaut do? So it gave me a lot of content about what are assets we have in space and how does the system work. The system financing, the financial side, the research side, and the operational side. So that was like, okay, nothing like this existed written.
Yeah.
I had that opportunity to bring those things in.
Yeah.
And then
you have another 2 challenges. So you are a 3 award winner for NASA challenges. That's what happened. Let's kind of like shortcut here. But I can say that because I was present and we were celebrating all that.
Shortcutting, I applied for more jobs in space. I got 7 months working for a company called Astra, and I was effectively launched into space. Later on, I got laid off because the industry is very hard. But I would say that even helped more. And this is the reality. That it was extremely hard for many personal and life reasons, but yes, I was launching rockets. So it moved from, and it starts getting close, working with, rocket engines and first stage, second stage, payload integration, overall system testing. Like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, I think, like something interesting and go a bit like, more the learnings for everyone that is not in space as well. But I think there is something very interesting is the focus on what you want and, like in the world of personal development, the future self, and be someone that wants to be a mission. How you call it? The mission, not the mission astronaut. How you call it? Like
I'll be mission
specialist,
specialist.
the
Yeah,
mission specialist in aerospace, right? So who's the astronaut but does things.
yeah.
So and has that vision, sharp vision. How many applications did you do to SpaceX, to Blue Origin,
Okay,
to
tell me. I got all of that data. So Blue
well,
Origin I applied for 235 jobs.
235 jobs?
It didn't work. For SpaceX, well, I applied for 90 jobs. In SpaceX I things really got to the
I
I
remember you
did
were visiting in the last, yes,
but I
yeah.
went to the last application, but I didn't stay, and that was a turning point for me. Like, okay, you guys don't. It's not working. It's not working for others.
Yes.
So I went back, and I would say for
But let me just pause here because it's a lot. Because all right, who's finding a job right now? You applied within what? So since like this, after you got all this experience and network, you start to believe in yourself. So you are like, now it's time to get a job in my industry, the industry,
yeah,
space
yeah,
industry.
yeah.
So within what, 2 years, like 1 year perhaps, right? So you applied for kind of a roughly 500 jobs
No,
in the
that's only those two, because for overall I applied for 1,000 jobs.
1,000 jobs,
Yeah, for sure.
and you didn't get any.
I,
Yeah,
I
you got one. You got
got
Astra.
one.
Oh, come on. Like, you
Yeah,
got one. You got in the industry. You moved to San Francisco. Hold on, because you
yeah,
live in New
exactly,
Jersey. You moved to San Francisco, and then you were laid off after 6 months,
exactly, exactly.
right? So, okay. So, and this is to pause and see the resilience and the determination where the journey is taking you. All right. And now, like the laid off, like from Astra, it happened 2 years ago, right? So it was roughly 2 years ago, 1 year and a half, something like that.
Yeah, 2 years
And
ago.
you said it was even better, right? So like the reframe thing. So it was not fun in that time, but it was even better because then it didn't make you stop the journey, right? So,
Yeah,
and I think it's interesting
yeah.
here as well, where the journey that take you to today.
Yeah, so when that happened, I was like, really? Okay, you don't want to stay with me because of certain reasons or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I gathered another team and I won my second NASA award.
Ah, it was after that. Okay, the
It was
NASA
after that.
award, it was after that.
So I
Okay,
was like,
yeah.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter, we still are on time. So I joined Planetoid Minds. I knew the team already. I've
And what
helped.
was the challenge that time?
It was the second phase of the
The
of
ice challenge.
the break the ice
The
challenge.
Okay, the second phase of finding
Second phase.
water in the moon, right?
So
To
in the
crack
first
the
phase,
ice and then get
phase
water.
of break the ice challenge, you design an end-to-end system from
Okay.
extraction to product, extraction, transportation, and delivery. On
Okay.
the second phase, you only design the extraction. And I'm
Oh,
like, I'm okay doing that. I picked up the team of engineers. I'm like, guys, you're gonna do this,
gotcha.
and we won. and
You
again,
won again.
and again, we won again. Okay, I won again with a different team. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm no longer doubt my questions. I still doubt. There are a lot of things to learn, but okay, I know how to understand the system that will operate on the moon and how to lead a team that can do this. Uh, so I won. Yes, we won another NASA award. That thing comes in. I was like, yes, I'm really positive this will work.
Just a
But
pause here because people are like, so what did you get after the NASA award? Let me tell everyone. We got the monetary
yeah,
award, money, good money, but it's
yeah,
not a personal money. It's money to invest on building the things that this team designed for to extraction of the water, the ice for to give water in the moon. All right. So it was given and it was donated, right, to a
yeah,
college, right? So
yeah.
so the R&D and the teams in that college. Which college was that one? Was Michigan?
Michigan Technological University. Yeah,
Okay, so Michigan Technological University got like a donation from this team award
Yeah,
to really
exactly.
develop. So you became a sponsor for that college, right? So
We
I
did.
remember.
I did. And it was to reward the engineering team that was there, but
That's
also to
cool.
continue the research that was really, really, let's say,
Okay,
that
so
was the right thing
fast
to do.
forward, the mission of being an astronaut and the mission
Yeah,
specialist continues, and
I would say fast forward. Um, and because this, in fact, this started many years ago, I went to the New York City Space Alliance. That was something close to here many years ago. And I was told, well, I will tell you what, there is this thing of space, and here in New York, I have to go. And I meet a person called, I meet Captain Stephen Ricky. And I went there and I say, look, I love space. I want to be an astronaut. Um, yes. Well, what do you want to do? Like, well, I'm a process engineer. I'm a person that is worried with how things can improve. And Stefan, by that moment, he said, "Look, okay, that's fine. You are here. Or you are a space person." And that was a really weird thing to say because he didn't know me from anywhere else. But it did help by saying that. Fast forward many years, I met Kale.
many years, like many years, not so many, right? So 1 year?
4, 5. I don't know. Depend from. I think I met him when we got to the US. That was when the
So many years.
Space
Okay, yeah.
Alliance were, and I kept on contact, sporadic contact. And there is this company called Space Nation. And over time, we've always been, I'm going to say, dating, or at least I was looking at,
Yeah.
what you guys are doing. And Space Nation does astronaut training.
Oh my God,
And
yes.
I would say, I'm going to summarize this. Long story short, I said, okay, I'm going to help you guys.
You
I'm
were
gonna-
invited to be in this startup, right? So to be
Yes.
part of the team of the startup and the kickoff.
To the kickoff. And I currently, my role is Chief Experience Officer.
Yeah.
How can I say this? The first time that I felt that I was doing something right, that is, I was on my path, was that when I and astronaut Mike Bueno, or Mike Good, for a couple of hours, we were both training people, and I was side by side with him. This isn't it. And I knew it from that moment. Okay, this is working. I knew it. Like, this is working. It's the first time I look to the side and I have an astronaut training me, and I'm training at the same level as him for different subjects.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. But let's see. All right. So you got this an invite, and this was like less than a year ago. And this was about the startup to launch, and it's an event base of trainings, right? And
Yeah,
since
yes.
you are in, so you had a full-time job as well, a corporate job. So you quit your
Yeah,
job.
true. Yeah,
At the
yes.
same time, your wife was quitting her job as well of 18
True.
years corporate. And wife, it's me, Coach AnnaJo, right? And at the same time, you already believe so much that is the right thing to be next to an astronaut and giving this training to these amazing aspiring astronauts that they are around the world, that they want to know that that dream can be possible, and you are leading that training.
Yeah.
And it
So-
happened already 3
Well, it
times.
happened 3 times because prior to this, prior
Yeah.
to my arrival at Space Nation, there was I lead marketing and sales and astronaut application and overall operations at the base in terms of deciding who does what, and then helping out end to end. And man, it happened 3 times. We already trained, we recruited and trained 3 times to become space ambassadors for Space Nation. We have a facility, we have a space training center. I say we because I do feel, well, the company is also mine. I feel it as mine, independent of the role. But more important, for everyone that goes there, they're starting to live their dreams. I've seen in there, and start talking with astronaut Mike many times, people that I know that they'll become astronauts. But more important, they'll become astronauts because they are with the right people to do that. In this case, the people that there are it's their crews. And just the ability, to be with these guys and girls and and being able to train them with the right astronaut mindset and skills and tools that are not only being given by by Mike, but also people that we have from the space industry. We're already changing them. We're already changing their perspective, like saying, no, this exists. You can start to becoming an astronaut today because we can do that. And on that process, I'm also becoming the astronaut. I'm also becoming and helping out. So that's been really transformative.
Yeah.
And yes, I did have 3 full-time jobs during a period of time. Because think about this, one of the things that helps a lot is when you get a huge setback. You just need to make sure that the setback doesn't kill you. And what do I mean by that? When I got interviewed at SpaceX, and I said, I'm gonna, and I didn't get the role, I was like, okay, you want that? That's fine. I'm gonna work as hard as you guys, and I'll build up this. I'll build it up. We need to build the capability. I will build up the capability to help others go to space. They will build as rocket ships, that's fine. But I will build the capabilities in humans, in the humans that.
Ooh, that's true, because yes,
Yeah.
you need, okay.
Think about this. Again, I went back to the idea of
An astronaut academy, right? Kind of, yeah.
that's what we have. We have an astronaut academy
Yeah.
because on leadership, but also on the execution, on the real life
The skills, really, the real skills, the technical skills. Yeah.
the technical skills. And that's what we are doing. That's what is required. Again, the more technical skills I learn, the more technical skills more people will learn, the more and the better people will be able to put in space to either bring a civilization and becoming a multiplanetary civilization, or in other words, of to have millions of people living and working in space. Independent of what route you choose, these people need skills. And that's what I'm doing. So in a way, like, okay, I'm doing my job. I'm focusing on those skills and helping to change those lives, including changing mine. I'm being very clear on that. It's just changing and ensuring that I bring the future to be closer to us right now. So I think, So and again, in this middle time, I won the 3rd NASA award, and that was because the moment you do a thing that is hard and you understand how to do that thing, you have the systems and the mindset, you can continuously replicate that. That's something that I teach as well. But I thought that for my syndrome, that I'm not in the industry, I don't, belong. Having the NASA awards, having the work, now leading a company, leading the work as chief experience officer and bringing more teams in.
This is really a badass move. All right, let me tell you, here to our listeners, we have a badass in the house, a badass who want to become an astronaut. And there's another thing that I think is very curious, and perhaps our listeners will relate, is it's too late, right? So you just turned 50 and it's not too late, and you believe that you have your time and the things are coming. And I really appreciate that. And I think it's something so brave to take on, right? So it's that, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I interview a lot of people. I made, like, for the last 3 missions, I've interviewed one on a Zoom thing, and talking with people about their
qualifying, right? The candidates to go to the mission.
They need to go through a certain requirements in the interview process. The amount of people that say that time has gone, that they are like, I'm 50 years old, I can no longer go. I said, what? Don't say that. Because if you say that, it becomes that. And I don't trust that. Even if the hair starts going more gray, I don't trust that. I don't trust what I see. I trust what I become, to be fair. So that's
a really good mindset.
Something to put out there.
It's never too late to follow your dreams, right?
It's never.
I think we could keep going, right, on this version of Gonçalo, the astronaut. So when do you think are you going to fly to the space? So we can say here, so it's recorded in the podcast of AnnaJo Talks. When do you think it's going to happen? What's your predictions?
For me, I'm going to say 2 to 5 years tops.
All right. Okay. Good. So
2 to 5 years. It's very clear what I'll be doing. The picture that when I'm at pad 39A with a helmet and the two flags, one of the US and other of Portugal, it's already there. It's in a picture. It's like it's like the astronaut over there, but there's my face and there's the left and the
you
right.
have that in your vision board, in our vision
Yes,
board.
it was in the
Yeah.
vision board. It's been in the
Yes.
vision board, and it's starting to get there. As I
Yeah.
put the astronaut glove, the suit, as I train more people, as I see more and more happening and bringing more into the game. And what I mean bringing more, because one thing I realize is this is very hard to do alone, and there is a need to really, as a team, bring more people in, bring more people to this idea. Like I said, Anna, it's never late, guys. It's definitely never late. So please don't say that. It does require work and some method, but it's never late, because the goal is life, and without this, it's not possible to be alive.
So, Gonçalo, I think there's so much to unpack all these episodes. So, talk about believing, right? So, talk about resilience, talk about bravery, talk about proximity, right? Building the network, massive action, and now not holding back by myth of age or gender, So, from badass to badass, what would be an advice that you would give to our listeners to end this episode? To follow the advice to follow their dreams and to become a badass, just like you.
Look, the advice, and this has worked for me. It's this: independent of the path that there is. You say, this is my objective. You need help.
Okay.
The first help is get it within yourself. Like get that thing in yourself. But there is a second layer, that is communicate that to the ones that are close to you, and get them with you as much as possible. So that's like two spheres. The first one is yourself, and then the other one helps maintain the integrity over there. Then, if this is a ball, it needs to keep on rolling, and that is, I think, the hardest part. That is, effectively, independent of the number of no's, there is a celestial yes somewhere down the line. But just be aware that even sometimes a yes, it's just a setback. And every time that I had a huge setback, if I go back to what I believe, what I really want to do, and what I've learned, it becomes really better. So get prepared for the setback. And I know this will be hard, that is, you will suck at the setback. It will pass and you will become better. Just have that capability. In the capability, in the thing that, okay, I mean, the setback, the work is not going, this is not what I was looking for, but I'm still closer. Man, then just drive hard. Drive, ask others in the industry, but do actions. Really do actions. Put a
massive action. Okay.
Excuse me. Put a post. Put 3 posts, 5, 10. Read. Create a new design. Ask someone, and it's going to work. It will work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So get your core back, right? So yourself and your first line of closest ones. Prepare for the setback and keep taking massive action. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Gonçalo, I would like to let all our listeners where they can find you and learn more about your journey and the services that you are having to the Astronauts Academy, if I can say like that. All right. So, and if you want to become an astronaut or similar industry or other advice or
Sure.
tell us like where we can find you.
So if you go and do spacenation.org, that's the easiest way to get and understand what we do as a mission. You can find me. You guys can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active. Every day I post and put things about space. My name is Gonçalo Esteves, GonCaloEsteves. Just reach out on LinkedIn. And we do have a space training center. That's an overall facility
in Texas,
Midland. And the crazy thing is like we are at the Midland Spaceport. So what you'll see in the next 2 years is that you guys get trained on Earth, and as you get trained by us, you start moving up. So first you move up, you fly. Then as you start getting trained in our facility and our training center, you start moving higher and higher until you go to LEO, that's lower orbit, and hopefully, I say not the moon, because from the moon it will need to fly from Cape Canaveral, most likely. But we'll have the capability to train you as an astronaut, by an astronaut, with members of the Special Forces, with myself in there, enjoying days of simulation and training. And then as we move from there to high altitude flight, and then as soon as 2 years from now, moving into post-Earth, that is outside of the atmosphere. Yeah.
So thank you so much, and all that will be on show notes, so our listeners will find you easily and learn more how to become an astronaut and never giving up of their dreams. And thank you for tuning into the AnnaJo Talks Work Life for Badasses. I hope today's episode has inspired you to live life on your own terms. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you can do hard things. See ya.
You've been listening to AnnaJo Talks, Work Life for Badasses, with your host, Coach AnnaJo. To learn more about Coach AnnaJo, her blogs, and her coaching programs on how to achieve the work-life harmony you deserve, head on over to AnnaJoTalks.com. Make sure to follow Coach AnnaJo at Coach AnnaJo on all social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of the AnnaJo Talks episodes on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. AnnaJo Talks, Work Life for Badasses was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.